One of the biggest concerns we hear from employers isn't about the benefits themselves. It's about the process. What happens? Why do we need all this information? How much work is this actually going to be? Let's walk through it together so you can approach your next benefits review with confidence, so you know exactly what's going to be expected before the process even begins.
A benefits review is really just a conversation. We are going to review your current plan documents, your current carrier arrangement, your most recent renewal, your employee census.
How many employees do they have? What do they contribute towards coverage? What kind of coverages do they participate and offer?
We generally will go over the information for all of the plans and the benefits that you're offering now.
And then kind of broadly talk about your company's kind of strategic goals for your benefits program. Typically a benefits review isn't a lot of work on the employer side. It really just involves a little bit of data collection.
We're looking for their full-time employees. We need a census or a roster.
The census should have everyone's names, date of birth, home zip codes, date of hire.
Your current plan documents or plan overviews, your most recent renewal, and any claims history if you have any.
Depending on how sophisticated they are, if they've got a benefit admin platform that they use, pulling that data that we need is real easy.
So it's not as involved as some business owners may feel. And it's part of the process every year. It shouldn't be anything new unless you're shopping for benefits for the very first time. When I meet with somebody for the first time, there's a need for something. There's a reason why we're there. The more open that they are about what their struggles may be, the better job we can do.
Carriers need census data to evaluate and underwrite your group. They're going to create a risk profile of your group based on the ages of your employees, sex, zip code, and so on.
The employee census gives a picture to the carrier of your demographic, where they live, because the cost of care is different in different areas. Their age, that is a factor. Older population tends to use the insurance a little bit more. They're higher risk for maybe going out on short-term disability or some more chronic health conditions, so they cost more. That's a higher risk. Also gender, that does come into play. Males tend to not go to the doctor as often, so all of that comes into play when the carrier is taking a look at the full picture of what is the risk that they're trying to insure.
A pushback sometimes we get, especially on a prospect, is they don't want to share their current renewal rates.
So we ask for renewal rates for two major reasons. One, it gives us, the broker, a benchmark where your current plans are and how your current carrier has priced your group. Second, when we go to market, prospective carriers, that's one of the first things they're going to ask for. And oftentimes they're not going to release competitive proposals until they have your renewal rates.
The more information we have, the better we can present the group to the carriers and come back with a good rate.
The renewal gives us an idea of how the group's performing.
If you're new to offering benefits, maybe it's only been a couple of years and you feel like, oh, I don't really release that information, the carriers are just not going to provide a final rate, a final offer without renewal information.
A renewal increase could mean a couple different things. Smaller single-digit increase could just mean that's the way the market is trending. A double-digit increase could indicate that a group has had a year of high claims, higher pharmacy usage, more preferred brands, could mean that the group has had a catastrophic claim or two.
So an increase does not always mean that the group is performing poorly. It could just be the way that they are set up and their size. A small group on a fully insured platform, you're basically pulled in together with multiple other groups in the area, and your group could be completely healthy and young and not even really be using the plan, and you can get an 18% just because that's the trend.
So it could mean a lot of different things depending on the group and depending on the certain circumstances. When confronted with a significant medical renewal increase, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your demographics, I'm going to look at your renewal history. Is this a one-off or is this a trend? Have there been significant changes in the census data? And then we're going to take you to market. We're going to solicit proposals from as many carriers as possible. Once we start receiving those proposals back from the market, we will have a better picture of why you're getting the increase you are getting, if we're going to be able to get lower rates with another carrier, if we need to go back to your current carrier and renegotiate and go from there.
I think there are a few misconceptions about benefits review. I guess one thing would be you're trying to sell me something. That's a big misconception, although sometimes, if there's a gap in the benefits that you're offering, if there's a need for additional coverage, then there should be a recommendation coming with that.
I think there's a couple misconceptions about the benefits review process. The first of which is you're going to have to make a change. After benefits renewal, we could find that you're in the right plans, that your employees are satisfied with your current benefits, and you're working towards your goals as an organization.
The biggest misconception that we get from groups when we're asking about the data we need is just it's going to take a long time to pull that info, and a lot of times they already have it. They might not even be aware of it.
Another misconception would be, why do I have to release my renewal rates to you? That's important. The carriers are going to want to see what your renewal rates are, and if you have claims data information, you're going to want to see that. They want to appropriately evaluate the group so they can have a good rating strategy.
Another misconception, particularly with groups that maybe aren't 100% satisfied with their current broker, is that they have to wait till renewal until they can speak with other brokers and potentially make a broker change. When in reality, in most scenarios, groups can change brokers mid-plan year simply through an agent of record change letter.
An insurance review, a benefits review does not mean that you have to change carriers, although if it's appropriate at a recommendation, we would make a recommendation for that.
We're in a review process. It doesn't mean that we're going to move you from the carrier you're with, but there might be some things you're not doing or some plans you're not using or services that carrier is providing that you're not taking advantage of. So there's things we can do with the current carrier and current plans that we can help them.
If you want to talk to another broker, like if you want to talk to us, but you like your carrier, maybe you're just having some service issues or would like to have somebody here locally, but you'll want to keep the plans that you have, that's usually something we can accommodate. We work with all the carriers in the area. So you can change brokers at any time. You don't have to wait for your renewal time to decide I want to change my broker. I would actually say if you've already gone through your renewal and you're just not having the level of service that you need, or if you feel like your broker is not bringing options to you, go ahead and reach out to us, because the longer we get to work together and learn about your challenges and what your group is experiencing, the more time we have to make a recommendation and find the options and the solutions so we can have a long-term strategy.
Have any other questions about the benefits review process? Reach out to one of our Wells Insurance Benefits advisors.